Hey, if you watched my video from about a month ago, you guys know that I moved to Western North Carolina. And with moving to a more rural, pretty area, there's been some changes. One of those, I want to grow my own vegetables. You guys know I have a brown thumb, but I'm really trying. So, what I've done here is I've bought some supplies to start gardening, and I'm going to show you what I bought. It's basically a $10 gardening kit that I put together myself. Everything I bought here, I got from Dollar General or Dollar Tree, and you can pretty much do the same thing yourself. You can even go to your local Walmart or patch it together from whatever store you have near you. Hey, y'all know that I moved to Western North Carolina about a month ago. I mentioned it in one of my earlier videos. But with moving to Western North Carolina and kind of moving to our rural homestead, I wanted to start doing some things that are not what I'm used to, like gardening. Y'all know I have a very brown thumb, but I really want to try. One of my goals for this year is to grow my own vegetables. So what I did was I did a little bit of research, and then I went out and bought some supplies. What I'm about to show you is basically my $10 gardening kit. So you can pick up this stuff anywhere, Dollar Tree, Dollar General, Walmart even, but all this is what I'm going to use to hopefully start my garden this year, and if all goes right, I'll have some fresh vegetables. Now again, everything that I have on this table for gardening, I bought it together. I think in total it ended up being about 11 bucks. There's a bunch of items in here that I'm super excited about, some that I probably won't buy again, but it's all about the learning process, so hopefully you learn what not to buy or what might not work for you. If you could comment or give me some suggestions on what I might need or what I might not be anticipating, let me know, because I'm serious about trying to get this going. I'm serious about starting my own garden. Now, again, I mentioned most of this came from the dollar store, so it's kind of just a hodgepodge, but it all makes sense. Now, I did buy couple of bags of seed starting mix. I bought about 3 bags. But because the area I'm moving to has very rich soil, I'm kind of cheating it a little bit. What I'm doing is I'm taking about half a bag of this. And then I'm actually using some soil. I don't know if you guys can see that. But I'm using soil that I actually got from the garden field that is on my property. I have a couple of acres, and the previous people who lived here would garden all the time and actually grow their own vegetables and food. And then I have family in the area that says, yeah, the soil's fine, you don't have to worry about nothing. So I put some soil in here, and then the potting seedling mix stuff, stirred it up really good, and that's what I'm using to start my seedlings. So a little hack, you don't have to spend all your money on soil. Bought these little seed starter pots. You could probably get away with Dixie cups or little paper cups, but there's 12 pots to the little set, and it was $1. So I got a few of these. I think I got in total a little bit over 36, or I think I got 48. I'm not sure. So yeah, hopefully I get all these filled within the next day or two, so I can start seeing some plants. I did fill them up. Fill up a couple already, if you can see that. See? Now this is one of the things I'm kind of torn on. I'm not sure if it was really worth my money or not. These are little plant labels, because they don't really, well, they're just a little too big for these. What I've noticed is you stick them in there, you still have all that. And what's going to happen is if a strong wind, which is pretty common here in North Carolina, happens, strong wind happens, it's actually going to knock this little lightweight pot over. So what I might just save these for is once I'm done with this bucket, I'm actually going to try to grow some wildflowers in it and some marigolds. I might just use it to label what I put in that pot. But yeah, don't bother. I mean, honestly, just buy your marker and write what you're going to do on the cup. The marker stuff's not going to leach into the cup with any amount of reasonable time. I mean, by the time it may leach into the cup, you already have seedlings and you'll need to transport them. Now, because I have such a brown thumb, I did buy some instant kits. I also bought these instant kits because I didn't see these in the seed options that were available to me. Um, I really did want to grow some strawberries this year. It's been a while since I've had strawberries, except for, like in a Whole Foods salad. And then basil. The reason I bought this is because it's specifically a basil kit. I've tried to grow herbs in the past, like, on my kitchen sill window, and I've had no luck. I'm going to try again. I did buy marigolds. This is Western North Carolina. It's known for its wildflowers, but the reason I'm getting these is because according to a few books, not just Pinterest, but according to a few books I've read, marigolds actually act as a natural deterrent to certain pests, both like squirrels and little, foraging animals, as well as invasive bugs that might eat up my little seedlings. So, I'm gonna grow these. There seems to be a lot in here. So, yeah. Now, the one thing I am super proud of is this. I am not a serious gardener. I mean, I want to be, but starting off, there is no problem with buying these little dollar store, little cheapo seed packets and trying my luck. Don't let anybody say anything otherwise. If you're just starting out, start cheap or affordable, I should say, start affordable, and then move up if you turn out to be good at it. All this, I think ended up running me barely $5 or $6. So that's cool. Now, the one thing I did want to point out for everybody, if you're not living in like a super rural farmland homestead place, keep an eye out for where it says ideal for containers. You can grow it in a pot. You can just get a couple of these things, stick it in there. I have sage for containers. I've got radishes for containers. I have a couple that are tomatoes or peppers that are good for containers. So, yeah. The other thing is, if you are getting a little bit better at gardening, or you really want to make sure you hold on to some seeds, buy the ones that say heirloom at the top. If it says heirloom, it has a better chance of maybe you can hold on to some of them, or maybe it'll produce some seeds and you can hold on to those as well. Again, a lot of this is from like the older books I've been reading. We barely have any internet out here, so I'm resorting to old gardening books and farmers' almanacs to get my knowledge and just get better at growing stuff. I love squash. I eat a lot of squash, and apparently I'm going to be eating more since I'm going on a diet. So, squash, squash, squash. I think I got like 4 or 5 packets. But again, everything in here is like a really basic vegetable. I do have a lot of leafy plants like spinach, kale. I do want to go grow cabbage, only because the only grocery store that's near me, their cabbage isn't very good. And that's the other thing. I'm basically, this $5 or $6 in seeds costs you less than one salad at like Whole Foods, like cafe-typey place. So why not just try to grow it yourself, and then you can be ultra super hipster. You'll be like so hipster because you have grown your own damn salad. There are a couple of things in here that I'm not necessarily growing for eating, but again, living on a rural homestead, there's a lot of like wildlife, invasive bugs and things like that. Since it is spring and I do need to start packing away a lot of my winter clothes, I want to grow some lavender. Growing lavender, as well as getting a hold of some fresh cedar and then drying it out yourself, you can pack that lavender and that cedar away with your winter clothes. As long as it's not sappy or oily, you can pack it away and keep your clothes safe so that they don't get attacked by moths or whatever, which can be a problem no matter how well you insect-proof your house. When you live in the country, sometimes that stuff happens. I'm gonna grow this. It's not gonna be ready in time for all my spring cleaning where I pack stuff away, but maybe next year. Now that is pretty much it. Oh, and I did buy 1 or 2 of these larger flower pots. That's kind of what brought me over the $10 line as far as a $10 gardening kit. And that was just because I do want to grow those wildflowers, but I also want to grow some pretty stuff and just keep a closer eye on it than the seedlings. The one thing, my shovel, you all know about this shovel. This is my rock hounding shovel. I'm using it because it's a little bit smaller and it fits into these little seedling cups better. See? Fits way better. Oops. Oh well. And I'm putting that soil in here loosely. You don't want to pack it down unless the seed packet tells you to pack it down. So just light, loose soil so that seedlings, their little roots can, you know, get in or actually expand and stuff like that. And then just put your plant in there, or your seed. I'm gonna grow me some sweet corn. And that's another thing. The backs of these seed packets are now so easy. I didn't really need to buy so many gardening books because a lot of the information for these plants is on the back of the seed packets. And if you buy live plants from like a store like Lowe's, they usually have a little info tag, or you can ask them at the register if there's like any info tags to tell you how to take care of them and how to maintain them. The thing I like about this is most of these instructions are for field, but they work well for everything else. This tells me the zone these should grow in, which is March through June for Western North Carolina. It also tells me if I want to grow this sweet corn correctly, I should sow it from about an inch, inch and a half deep, and space the seeds 4 to 6 inches. Now, since I'm starting in seedling cups, I'm going to ignore this until after they've sprouted, and at that point is when I'm going to try to, you know, move them 4 to 6 inches apart. But the 1.5 inches, definitely going to do that now. So just, there we go. And just stick it in there gently. Stick it in there. There we go. If you have any big clods, go ahead and squish those up. You might put another small layer on top. And then label it with your marker. You're good to go. Now, once I get all these pots filled up, they're going to be all over my workbench. I'm not sure if you guys can see my workbench. Maybe I should help you out with that. So, I'll have all these seedling starters all over my workbench. I don't want them there. I do other stuff here. So what I'll do is, once I get enough of them, I'm probably going to put them in a little bin. And that way I can move them to a sunny place or keep them, you know, right here on the porch. Keep an eye on them. Once they get big enough, that's when I'll start transferring them to other places like other containers or actually out in the field. If you don't have enough large containers, get creative. Use a cardboard box, or what I'm doing is using this. This is actually the packaging for my robot vacuum. Now, it seems to be made out of the same stuff as the little seedlings, but I don't recommend using it for seedlings. And the reason is because I don't know enough about that robot vacuum company to know if they may have put, you know, some sort of chemicals or anti-bug or anti-mold chemicals into their little packaging. So I don't want that stuff to leach into the plants. It's probably pretty bad for you. So I won't start actual seedlings in here. I'm just going to transport them in here. The cool thing about this though is it was free. I'm just going to stick my little seedlings in this little thing and carry it around. I can actually leave it out in the elements and not worry about it harming too much stuff. If it breaks down, so what? It is designed to break down easily and it won't harm anything. If you have any comments or advice, anything I might be missing, or anything that you would suggest adding to this little $10-ish kit, let me know in the comments below. Again, hit the like button, hit subscribe to subscribe to my channel, and then hit the little bell icon. That way you'll get notifications every time I upload a video. I upload videos on a fairly regular basis. But thanks for watching.